So this is a Scanmarker Pal. I'm really excited about this because my son is dyslexic and we homeschool, and this is going to be huge for him, especially when he's doing his reading. So what we'll do is we'll go through all the parts, everything that it comes with, and then we'll go through and I'll show you exactly how to use the Scanmarker Pal and how easy it is to use.
And just a quick thank you to the seller for gifting me this in exchange for my review.
Now, it does come with a instructional booklet here. So it's actually not too long. You have it in a couple different languages, so it's just a couple pages. And honestly, the easiest way you're going to get to know how to use this is just to get in here and start clicking on the different areas and the settings, which we'll go through that in a second. These are the wired analog headphones. It has a USB-C on the end here, so they are not your typical headphones that usually has just like the headphone jack. I do find that these are actually a little big for my ears, that they kind of hurt my ears just being too big, but my ears are very small, but they fit my 9-year-old's ears just fine. So if they are too big for you as well, you might need to get another set that has more adjustable ear holes there. Here is the charging cord. This is very small, but you probably have a USB-C charging cord that is longer than this that you could use as well. It comes with like this bookmarker, which is able to help you go line by line. So you'll see how we're going to use this as well, because it does have like an indented part here, which helps with the scan marker. So this is already turned on. It does take about 15-20 seconds to actually boot up and turn on. It kind of reminds me a little bit of a computer, but a small handheld one. So you have different options here. You can read, translate, speak, and then you can also export files if you want, and settings. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the settings. So under settings, you want to connect to Wi-Fi. So that's going to be the first thing you'll do. You'll click on here, connect to your Wi-Fi, especially if you have a password. You can also connect to Bluetooth if you plan on exporting files. You have the ability to adjust the volume. So I'm going to adjust it to about there. When it's all the way up, it's a little too loud for me. You can adjust whether it auto plays or not. So whether it's going to pronounce after scanning the dictionary and the text automatically, or if you want to be able to push it. So I have it on autoplay. You can also choose whether you want it on multi-line. So if you turn this on, basically when you go through one line of text, you can go to the next line of text within 2 seconds and it will just continue to pick up, and you could have like the entire paragraph scanned in on here before it's read aloud. So that is an option to do that, or you can turn that off and you just go line by line, and when you pick up and go to the next line, it's going to basically clear out your previous entry. You can adjust the brightness, so I have it all the way up right now. You can also choose the automatic screen, which is 1 minute, 3 minutes, and 5 minutes. Let's see. You choose which hand you're using it with. I use it with my right hand. My son will be using it with his right hand as well. You choose your language, so I have it set to English. You can also have it auto power off. So I have it to auto power off after 30 minutes. You can have it for longer or just never to auto power off. But of course, it's going to make your battery go very quickly. You can also check for upgrades. So it'll detect and tell you whether there's an upgrade you can do. Mine says that I'm already at the latest version. You can reset. And then you have an about section, which also has the email to the scan marker in case you have any questions, and the version, all that information. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the read section. So I have the option to either have it read an entire sentence or do it word by word, which I can select using my finger. So I love that this is touchscreen. That really is helpful. But first, there's settings for each one of these. So for the adding mode, I can replace or append. So if I want to do a sentence or a word or something like that, and I want to keep adding on, I would keep it on append. If I want to replace it every time I lift up and push my pen back down, then I'm going to put it on replace. I can adjust the speed that the person talking on here translating for me, how fast or slow it goes. So you can make it go slower. In fact, with kids, I might consider going down a bit slower. Then my scan language is English. You can choose the reading language. I have it set to American. And then I'm going to show you. So you do not want to hold it vertical up and down like this. You're going to want to hold it at an angle just like you would with a pen or a pencil. So we're going to go ahead down here. And now this is kind of the way I kind of describe it, is it reminds me a little bit of skis. So the skis need to be where the word is starting, and the blue here is the words need to be lined up in that blue line. So if we were to do this first sentence, is there really a Bigfoot? I'm going to go before the letters to begin, press down, you'll see a light comes on, and I'm going to just slowly scan it. I don't want to go too fast, because if I go too fast, sometimes it leaves off letters.
Is there really a Bigfoot?
Okay, so if I wanted to do word by word, I could hit the word, and then she'll either read one or I'll choose one to read. So let's say I don't know what this word is.
Really?
I can choose what ones to do. Now, I do recommend when you are having it read that you actually do the whole line. And the reason for this is because when you go in between and just do like one word, sometimes you'll get part of the word before or part of the word after, and then it just can get confusing, especially if a child is using this. So I definitely recommend doing the whole line and either having it set to the word where they can just choose the word that they're struggling with, or the actual sentence if you need them to read the whole sentence back. So for independent works, particularly with homeschooling, this is going to be really, really beneficial. Now, this is not 1000% accurate. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to I have it set, I believe, to keep adding on. So we're going to go ahead and do 2 sentences here. Or not 2 sentences, but 2 lines. Oh, I have it set to word. Hang on.
Tales of Bigfoot sightings have been reported since the 1800s.
So you can
but
see.
no one has ever proved.
So you can see that it does 1800s instead of 1800s. So sometimes it will get certain things like numbers like 0 and O confused, or I've seen it confuse an H and an N, but really if you go slower, sometimes it will pick it up a lot better. So I had the word hoax in this paragraph and it changed the H to an N and I went too quickly. But when you go back and go a bit slower, scanning it through, it actually works a lot better. So don't rush it. You're going to kind of find where that sweet spot is, but don't rush that process. Next, we're going to go ahead to translate. So it says, please scan as vertically as possible. That does not mean don't do this, okay? Hold it naturally like a pen and you're gonna go ahead and scan. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is go to the settings. So you wanna take a look at what the scan language is. So I'm gonna scan some words from a book that we're reading that has just random Spanish words in it. So I have my scan language set as Spanish and my translate language as English. Now, if you have a situation like this book where it's only one random word here or there, that's fine. But you're going to, again, have that same issue where sometimes you'll get a couple letters before the word and a couple letters after, and it's not really that great of an idea to do it that way. I actually prefer to either do a big portion of the sentence or the whole line. So this is another way that this can come in. You don't have to use this, but kids that might have trouble with tracking or people with learning disabilities, this can really help, and it might also help your scan marker. So let's use it for this sentence that we need. So we have, she calls me Galanita, and in the afternoon she sits on the patio. So our question is, well, what is a Galanita? So we're going to go ahead and scan that sentence. And you can do the whole line, or you can just do part of it.
She calls me her Galanita, and in the afternoons, she sits on the patio.
So I still want to know what Galanita is, and sometimes it's not giving me that when I do the whole sentence if it's only one word in it. So I'm going to do it a little bit less. Let me just try, she calls me Galanita.
She calls me her Galanita and I.
Okay, so we still need it to be maybe a little bit slower and just that word.
Her little hen.
So you can see now it's working when I do just the words. So you're really going to have to find what is best. Most times you're going to use the translate one for just a random word in a paragraph like we are with the book that we're using. So for us, it might make sense just to do the word when it's not actually coming up. If it does come up with the sentence, then that's great. But if it's not, we might just do the one word. So if you are using it for, let's say, an instructional booklet where the instructions are in another language, this would be perfect because it's going to do the whole thing in the language that you need it to. So that's how you would do the translation. If I want to go back to my main screen, I can just press right there and I can press it again to go back to the beginning. So translate, now we're going to do the speak. So for voice translation, first I want to go to the settings. The speaking language is going to be English, and I'm going to translate it to German for purposes of this going over it. So to do the voice translation, you're going to need to hold down the microphone. Hello, how are you?
Hallo, wie geht es dir?
Where is the bathroom?
Wo ist das Badezimmer?
So this is really great. If you're someone that travels a lot, or maybe you're going out to a restaurant where they speak another language, this would be amazing for that. Okay, so then you also have the ability to export files. So for instance, I scanned some things on another one of these sections, so flags around the world, and if I wanted to export that, I could export that file if I was connected to Bluetooth. So overall, this is a great little device. It's going to be perfect for my son with dyslexia and his learning disabilities to help him to be more independent and more confident in his learning. So I really recommend it, especially for kids with dyslexia, for people with learning disabilities, or if you need something, if you're traveling, it's really handy. You can keep it in the box. It does have a little holder here, though it is a bit snug with the silicone on the outside. You can see that this is like a protective silicone that goes on it. So, and here's your on button as well. And that's what you're going to hold down for about 2 or 3 seconds, and then it will turn on. It takes, again, about 15, 20 seconds, but it's a fantastic device, just fantastic. I'm really excited about it.